everyone. Welcome all to the SnailTrail4x4 podcast. If you like going off-roading in Toyotas, wrenching on Toyotas, camping in Toyotas, and maybe even poking a little bit of fun in Toyotas, and of course, hearing about how awesome it is to work on your Toyotas under shade trees, then this is the podcast for you. That's right, ladies and germs. My name is Tyler, and joining me for another fun, delightful, delectable episode of the SnailTrail4x4 podcast is the one and only Mr. Jimmy Jet. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well.
Good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear
it. Good. It's good stuff. Good stuff going on. I got a hair in my mouth off this microphone. Who's been on the dogs in the studio?
No idea.
Who let the dogs in? Woof, woof, woof.
Who let the dogs out?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I was alluding to. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Monday episode.
Yes.
We have a Monday episode for everybody out there. So we're going to have a fun little topic today because Jimmy and I have been doing some work on our vehicles again. And so we've been having some fun, and it kind of made us think of some things. So we have a fun topic we'll get into in a little bit here. But first, we have a giveaway this month, which is more contest between Jimmy and I to figure out who is better.
It's really a contest between you and I, and two lucky winners are going to benefit from it.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all know that Tyler's going to win. So do we really need to do the contest?
Well, if you don't do it and I do, then that would make me the winner.
Not necessarily. What if the other person likes getting nothing?
Then you should just send them coal.
That's getting something then.
No, that's true. Yeah.
I'll send them a box of air.
There you go.
Yeah.
Rare air.
Good old California Sacramento air.
Mm-hmm. That'll send it over to New York City.
Yeah. Cherish this. You'll never get clean air like this again.
Nope. Oh, it's gone.
Oh, no. Sorry.
You opened the box. It's gone. It's all gone.
Joke's on them. I'm going to fart in it before I say it. Oh, man. Be careful, whoever opens my gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry in advance.
Sounds lovely. I think I'm going to win and be the best gift giver of all time.
No, not of all time. Then we'll be tied.
Okay.
Because I won last year.
That's true.
You're not going to win this year, though. So
I'll be the best gift giver for the year.
Of 2023?
Of 2024.
Oh, yeah, because they're going to get it in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
What about my gift box, though, in April?
Yeah, that's sort of a joint collaboration between you and I.
Yeah, I guess so.
That or you can win, and then in November, I end up winning again.
Oh, damn. I don't like these loopholes, Jimmy.
You signed the contract.
That's true. I didn't sign a prenup, though, so we're going to put an end to this.
Okay.
So, yeah, let's see here. So we got a giveaway / gift contest between Jimmy and I for two lucky winners coming up for the month of December. To get in on that, all you have to do is go to irate4x4.com and sign up for the $10 giveaway tier. So that will automatically enter you into this contest. We'll pick two lucky winners, probably the first week of January, and we'll send off some gifts to you guys, and then you guys get to vote and see who got the better gift.
Yeah, super exciting about that. Also, congratulations to Sergio Rodriguez for winning the PSI Pro Gen 2 from Moreflate. That was last month's giveaway.
Congratulations.
So, massive congrats to you, and thanks for Moreflate for donating.
You're welcome,
compressor
Jimmy.
That hopefully is here by now.
I hope so. Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep you guys updated on that one. Don't hold your breath. But yeah, congrats to Sergio for getting that compressor there. We will be reaching out to you via probably email. I think that's the best way. We should have your email contact info to let you know that's coming and make sure we have the correct shipping address for you.
Perfect.
Yeah. Fergie Fab, we don't have anything for you. Keep listening though. Teasing.
If you guys want to leave us a review,
thank you.
You're welcome. You can do that over on Apple iTunes or Apple Podcasts, whatever they call it now. Mm-hmm. That's where we collect a bunch of the reviews. And once we hit 50-ish reviews, every 50, thanks. That's a better way to put it. I think, are we coming up on 600?
It should be coming up on 600 here.
Yeah. So we're coming up on 600 here, then 650, then 700. We are giving away swag packs every 50.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then at 750, we're giving away a set of tires from Yokohama Tire.
Yeah, buddy. I'm pretty sure I sold 2 sets of 40s for Yokohama the past couple of days. So.
Right? That your reel got posted up on the Rubicon Trail page of you wheeling up Soup Bowl in the snow.
Yep.
In the iciness.
Iciness in the snow, yeah.
And you probably sold some tires because of that.
I wasn't, when I was making that video, I didn't listen to the video audio.
Oh, yeah?
I was just immediately, I was like, I want to use this song. I haven't used this song in a long time for anything.
Okay.
So I had the song audio going, and I was watching the video with its own audio recently, and you could hear as I'm climbing up the top of the first ledge, there's a ice puddle in there, and it's just cracking as I'm rolling through it.
Yeah.
So it was kind of fun. It's like, oh, yep, there's ice in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised. Do you normally kind of walk right up Soup Bowl?
Yeah.
Not without too many issues.
I know.
And there was a couple times and I was like, oh yeah, you're up. And then you fell back down. I was like, what?
Fell down. Yeah, I don't know. I think that I got defeated primarily because of wheelbase length on this time.
One.
Normally it's a benefit for me, well, at least when it's dry, because the way I'm positioned, I'm climbing 2 different ledges at 2 different times.
Yeah.
Where you climbed, it seemed like all of them at once, but
everything
it
at
worked
one time,
out better that way.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure what happened. I could have made it up eventually, but I tried 2 or 3, 4 times, and then I was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Let's go on a hike.
Yeah. And then you backed off, and as you were backing off, you drove over every big rock in that area.
And a tree.
And a tree.
A fallen down log in the trail. Yeah.
We're like, you could have gone anywhere else, Jimmy, and had a nice smooth backup, and you decided to hit every single rock and tree in that area.
Well, that's boring.
Exactly. Oh man. So yeah, fun trip. Always a fun time out there. But yeah, a couple people saw and they're using the Pro Comp 40s right now, which are discontinued. You can't get them anymore because 4-wheel parts is going defunct.
Wow.
So yeah, they're looking for a new tire. And I was like, dude, the Geolander MTs are a very similar tire to those Pro Comps. If you like the Pro Comps, you'll like the Geolanders.
Oh, cool.
So it sounds like they're going to be going for them. We'll see.
Sweet.
But you guys have a chance to win a set if you want to. 750 reviews. We're doing a giveaway to everybody who has left a review. So you have a 1 in 750 chance to win a set of tires. And that's pretty damn good odds.
Yeah.
For considering getting a set of tires. And you can increase those odds if you can find ways to leave multiple reviews.
Absolutely.
AKA, we are bribing you guys. And
Some
Yokohama is on board for that. So. Yeah, get those reviews in over at Apple Podcasts. We have to use Apple Podcasts because that's where a lot of the algorithms for serving people podcasts is based off of, is how many reviews and feedbacks and stars and everything that a podcast has on Apple Podcasts. Right. So that's what we're bribing you guys through, and it helps us get in front of more people so we get to do more cool stuff like giving away a set of tires at Yokohama. So
absolutely.
Yeah, man. So that's going on. Make sure you go over and do that. We have the giveaway for the month. Gift boxes are all closed. Patreon is closed. What else is there?
That's about it as far as I can recall. We're I think in January is at least my goal to start the donation tier.
Oh, okay, cool. I think that'd be good.
Yeah. And then we'll do that for every few months, and we'll, you like guys
once a quarter or something.
Yeah, once a quarter, maybe we'll figure out that. And it's just going to be another option online for you to just have a reoccurring donation area. And then we're going to take that money, 100% of those proceeds. We're going to take that money and we're going to donate it to an off-road organization that's helping us out, keep trails open or doing good in the off-road community one way or another. Yeah, that'd be cool. I know the first one we're going to be doing is Blue Ribbon Coalition, and then we'll see if that ends up morphing and turning into other organizations as we go down the road here. Absolutely.
And then speaking of fundraisers, the Morphlate trash bags are almost in.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
This has been a project that I've had in the works almost since I started Morphlate of selling some really badass trash bags that are going to be mainly used as a fundraiser for off-road trail advocacy organizations.
Okay, cool.
So it's very similar to, what's that company? They do a vinyl mesh trash bag that you see in a lot of buggies.
I don't know.
Sackett, I think. Sackett, but it's like SAKK or something. Sackett. I don't know. Anyways,
yeah, you got me.
It's a hard vinyl mesh trash bag, which is great because it can withstand abuse, getting dragged behind the vehicle. It lets fluids and things drain out of the bag, unlike a trasharoo, where you put like an empty beer can in a trasharoo and inevitably you end up with this nice coating of beer inside your trash bag.
Right. Yeah.
So these ones we did hard vinyl mesh, neon green with a black MFR logo. They're going to be, I think we're going to have them at $30 or $35. I haven't done the full cost yet because we haven't got them in to see what the shipping bills are. But $30 or $35, and we'll be giving $20 of that sale back to a trail advocacy organization of the users choosing.
Oh, nice.
The customers choosing.
Okay, so cool.
We'll have a drop-down menu and a list of organizations. And then I think either once a quarter or once every 6 months, something like that, we'll pay it out to the organizations.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. If you want a preview of what those might look like, there's one on SnailTrail4x4's Instagram page of me going up a ledge. The main difference is that this one has a white logo on the bag where the other ones are going to have black logos.
Yep.
But that's, for the most part, that's pretty much exactly what they're going to look.
Yep. So they're pretty rad. I'm happy with them. And it's going to be a really cool fundraiser that we get to do. And another way that we kind of get to give back. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a great size too. I'm excited that I'm stealing yours.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any more trips until Winter Fun Fest. They should hopefully be in by then. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Good. And I don't need to worry now.
Exactly.
So I already got one.
Yeah. Let's see.
Let me speak on that just a hair more, because I don't know whether it was me driving down from observation to the Tahoma staging. That bag got dirty.
Oh, okay.
But I dumped.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because it was just muddy and nasty and wet, and we were going through puddles and
you kind of had it like on your back corner. So like
the
tires throwing mud
tire was throwing mud up into that area. Anyway. But it was higher. I mean, it was up more than where yours was, which was more or less dragging on the ground.
Yes.
Anyways, I dumped all the trash out, and the next day I sprayed it off with a hose, and it cleaned up pretty much spot off. Like it was super clean. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. We designed it to be kind of like an easy cleaning material. It's like a vinyl. So it should clean and rinse off pretty well. So
it did.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I'm glad to hear. I haven't got to test that part yet. Cool. So yeah, we got that. We also, speaking of giving back, we just delivered 2 ballistic 3 vests to canines.
Oh, cool.
Police dogs in the Sacramento area. So one went to Sac PD, one went to Placerville PD. And then we have another one on the way for El Dorado County Sheriff. And then it looks like we're also going to be outfitting El Dorado County Sheriff Search and Rescue Team, the OHV division, with a bunch of Morphlite product as well that we're completely donating to the search and rescue teams.
Wow.
So
cool.
Another way that I like to make sure that we give back to local communities. And this one just happens to be local to us.
Yeah. One of the things you did last year, around the turn of the year, is and I don't know if you keep track of it all year long, but you did mention about how much money, and or as in product, but money value that you donated into the off-road community last year. And I've been keeping track this year.
Oh, cool.
So that I can give that report as well next year, which my Snail Armor and Snail Trails are vastly smaller than Morphlite, but it feels good once you get, like, at the start, you're like, oh, it's only $100. But then,
it accumulates through the
months
year.
go by and you donate a few things to some companies and, or events going on, and that stacks up. And so I've got a good chunk of money that I've donated into the community. So
that's cool.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah. And that's fun. We definitely have to keep track of it due to taxes mainly. Yes. So we typically figure all that out when we are putting our taxes together in January. Sure. So, but yeah, I don't know how much we've done this year. I know that it's been a lot. So we'll find out in January. But yeah, it's fun to kind of look at what you can do. One of my mottos in life is be the change you want to see in the world, right?
Yes.
And so if you want to see things happening in the off-road industry, something that I'm very passionate about, you're very passionate about, if you want to see change there, get up and do it. So don't be the person that sits around saying, what the hell just happened? And you miss out on being able to help influence the future of the industry. If it's something you really care about, it doesn't have to be off-roading, anything at all. If it's something you care about, be a driving force in that. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's a pretty decent segue into our main topic today.
Yeah.
Which you could be a change and you could help correct others and or show them the proper ways to be a shade tree mechanic.
Yeah.
We've got a decent little list here. I think we have roughly, we have over 10, maybe 13 items on a list of do's and don'ts for shade tree mechanics safety.
Mm-hmm.
And I think following this list, you will definitely help others learn or teach them how to be better shade tree mechanics and be safer while they're out tinkering for themselves.
Sweet. Yeah. Let's get on over to it. Let's hear a couple words from Brian, our good buddy over at 4-Wheel Underground, and then we'll be right on back with today's main topic / campfire discussion about shade tree mechanicism.
Are you looking for superior suspension for your Toyota off-road vehicle? At 4-Wheel Underground, we take every effort to engineer tight tolerances and proper material thicknesses in order to achieve a durable suspension with bitchin' fitment. Check out our quality kits with USA manufacturing at 4wheelunderground.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentleladies. I realized as I said mechanicism, I started thinking about catechism for some reason.
Weird.
Like this is turning into a Catholicism podcast now.
No, it's not.
Anyways, welcome back, everybody. We're going to be talking a little bit about shade tree mechanics, which are exactly what Jimmy and I are.
Mm-hmm.
We've done some pretty stupid things when it comes to mechanic stuff in the
100%.
past. And we've learned a lot from it, and we still do stupid things. So we're hoping this is another one of those episodes where we get to talk about some of the stupid things that we've done, and hopefully you guys get to learn from it. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been working on rigs, since I could get my own rig. I've been tinkering on them, ripping them apart and doing things. And going above and beyond what my skill was at the time, to now, I've got pretty much a bare frame, in the shop and building a vehicle all the way up from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Not nearly as how Hussman has done it, but, where he's built his frame and all. But it's, you learn as you go, but you also, learn how to be smarter and safer as you go. And I think that from our experiences and some of these rules that we kind of, not really rules, but suggestions that we've written down, you can be safer on your path as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Learn from our mistakes and, what was it? Do as we say, not as we do.
Yes.
100%. So, we got a nice little list here, 13 things. We'll try and not get too far off topic, but they're not really in any particular order, but I know that the first 2 to 3 are pretty high priority stuff that everybody should learn very early on in your mechanicism career.
Yes.
And to do safely and do correctly. And so I guess without further ado, those first 3 items are what, Jimmy? What's the first one?
The first one is chalk your vehicle.
Yeah.
And this really comes into play when you have a driveway that's like Tyler's.
Yeah.
Not
16 degrees, 17, whatever it is.
Which is pretty steep.
Mm-hmm.
But really, you should chalk your vehicle almost every single time. Whether it's a 2x4, a rock, an actual angled thing for a chalk for the tire, and you might
hold on. What is chalking your vehicle? Does it have to do with actual chalk? Like, are you drawing something?
Yeah, it's the outline of your vehicle of where it used to be,
like a CSI murder scene
before you started working on it. And then when you lifted it, or in Hussman's case, when you let it sit there to burp off the air in your coolant system, and it decides to roll away and down and into a pond.
Yes.
You knew the chalk of where it used to be.
The chalk was. Yep.
No, a chalk is it's a device that holds the tire in place, which in return holds the vehicle.
It keeps the tire from turning, so it keeps
the tire,
vehicle from rolling anywhere.
Away.
Yeah.
And there's times when you need to work on your vehicle that the vehicle's either in neutral or, you've disconnected the drive shafts. What's his face on Rovi?
Yep. I see him tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen him since that incident.
I saw him on at Hella Trails meetup.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. He was doing something.
He was disconnecting his drive shafts.
And
he has a sloped driveway.
Right. And I don't know the extent of the story, but he was disconnecting a drive shaft and the car rolled over his legs and over him and across the alley and hit the car across the way from him.
Yep.
So if he would have chalked his vehicle, he would have not had that problem.
Yep. I've seen it happen. I mean, our buddy Dylan Brugaris.
Yeah.
He had it happen to him on his truck when he was working on his truck one time.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it drugged him actually because he was trying to hold on to it to keep it from rolling down the driveway.
Oh.
When he should have just let it go. But it drug him all the way to the bottom of the driveway and then went out in the street and then came back into his driveway because the street was sloped. So he almost got crushed like 3 times in that video. That was a really bad one. Hussman has an experience of losing his truck down into a pond.
Yeah, he didn't get ran over. Thankfully,
no, he didn't. Jeff Bakken has an incident where he was lifting up his vehicle and he was actually trying to move the vehicle on the jack though, on a floor jack.
That's not a good
idea. Got away from him, went down the hill and took out the neighbor's tree. When you and I were doing something on the first gen 4Runner, might have been during the swappy swap. And we lifted up the front end of the 4Runner and it started rolling backwards. And we were just like, we both just jumped backwards and said, let it go, let it fall on the ground.
Yeah. Well, what is that one? Was it rolling off a jack?
I think it might've been rolling off a jack. I think we were putting the front axle under it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we were kind of wiggling the front axle around on the suspension. It just kind of started rolling backwards.
Yeah.
And we were just like both jumped back and we're like, just let it fall. Let it fall.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the number one, I think, most common way that injuries happen when you're working on a vehicle is by the vehicle rolling away on you. And it can happen on level ground like it did in the shop with the first gen 4Runner. It could happen definitely on slopes.
Yeah.
So just put something under the tire to keep your vehicle from rolling, whether you're on a flat level ground or whether you're on a sloped thing, whether you have the engine started, whether you're not, the engine's going to be off. Even if you have it in gear, if I'm going to have the rig in gear, I'll still chalk it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Especially if you don't have an e-brake, right? Which is a whole nother thing. Even I think, Rovi with his 5th gen 4Runner was planning on having his e-brake engaging and working, and it does, but I think it just rolled through it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that big of a, concern. I'm going to kind of skip the next one here because we're sort of on line with properly rated jack stands.
Yeah, totally.
So I think that properly rated jack stands is super important. If you have the tiny little ones that are only for like 2 tons, your vehicle weighs a lot.
It does.
Right? There are vehicles that weigh a lot, and that one jack stand can take a bit of weight. And if you have 2 of them, it kind of shares they share weight, which they do.
And if you're only lifting the front end of a vehicle, 2 tons, that's 4,000 pounds. I mean, the F-350 weighs 9,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's like your 2-ton jack stands are not good to hold the front end of the F-350.
No, not
like an off-road crawler. Maybe.
Yeah.
But
you might as well have something big.
Yeah.
You might as well have the extra strength.
Yeah.
And in a lot of our cases, in the off-road cases, we need taller jack stands more so than stronger jack stands. And so when you go up to the larger jack stands, you're getting up into the 5-ton jack stands or 6-ton jack stands. They're plenty strong, but they're also taller. And now you don't have to lower your vehicle down to these. Like I think the 2 and 3-ton jack stands at full extension, I set my vehicle down onto them and my tires are still touching the ground.
Yes, mine do.
Right?
Yep.
So you absolutely need larger jack stands.
Yep.
And considering the weight of your vehicle, you can look at what rating of jack stands you should be having.
Yeah. So my big concern with 2 or 3-ton jack stands is the height of them. And most of the time, if you're running 37-inch tires or bigger, a 2 to 3 ton jack stand is not going to lift the vehicle up and allow you to take your tire off.
Correct.
It's not going to hold the weight of the vehicle. So what we end up doing is super janky stuff of stacking things underneath the jack stand to make it taller, right? I've never done that before. I promise you.
Yeah. Never, ever have I ever.
Yeah, right. And that's the big thing that I get concerned about is the janky stuff that we do as off-roaders and shade tree mechanics to make our jack stands taller when they shouldn't be taller, probably.
Yeah. One Christmas, I think, made me these 4x4 jack extensions.
Yeah, platforms
that it's like a 12x12 area built out of some 4x4s. So it's like, I don't know what 4x4s are 3.5 inches thick or whatever. So they're 6-7 inches taller.
Yeah.
And then you can put a jack on top of that. And then that lifts the whole vehicle up. And I've had people on YouTube videos comment that I shouldn't even do that.
It can be questionable. I think that's way better than stacking wood or cinder blocks or something under them, because everything's connected together and being held together under either tension or whatever compression. But
what I wanted to point out about that is these were 4x4s that were sort of Lincoln logged, sort of stacked on on top of each other, but they're also screwed down to each other with a top plate that's screwed down to those.
Yeah.
So it's not like that thing could sort of fall apart.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Or slip across, and collapse on each other. They're all screwed together in different ways. So if you need to lift it without having the proper tool, then, make sure that it's not going to collapse on itself or make sure that nothing's like that's going to happen. So,
yeah. If you can, try and get a big solid chunk of wood or something rather than multiple 2x4s.
Yeah.
Creating a 2x4 pyramid.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Sumner jacks are amazing.
Amazing. And the versatility and height adjustments within those are outstanding as well. Okay. The next one that we're going to talk about is just raising and lowering your vehicle.
Yeah. Right? Safety while doing it.
Safety while lifting the vehicle. I have a lot of people around me, usually in the shop when I'm working on a vehicle. I'm usually helping somebody else on their rig, or people are coming over and helping me on my rig. And I think that, there's a level of communication there, which we'll cover in another topic. But whenever I'm raising and lowering a vehicle, I blurt that out to them. I'm going up, or, I'm releasing the jack. We're coming down.
Yep.
Right. And so there's a level of communication, which we'll talk about on another one, that needs to happen whenever you're working on a vehicle and there's people around.
Yeah. Raising and lowering a vehicle. I mean, those things weigh a lot more than what the human body can handle. Taking force wise. So you got to be really careful about that. And you need to be choosing solid locations to lift and raise or lower the vehicle from. So don't use
the oil pan
of your engine. Yeah. We've seen CJ try and wheel his vehicle on the oil pan before. That doesn't work out very well.
No.
And so, don't use oil pans. Try and use a part of the frame or the chassis, right? To raise and lower the vehicle. If you've got bumpers, don't use bumpers. They're typically not there to be able to take the load of lifting and lowering a vehicle. They're there to take on a head-on collision, right? But if your bumpers are welded into your frame and chassis, that's becoming part of your frame and chassis, then you can use them.
Yeah.
But you need to be safe about how you're doing it and be choosing the correct locations to be able to withstand the weight of what you're doing to the vehicle there.
Yeah, absolutely. There are lifting points designated on your vehicle.
Correct.
And whether it's the frame under an axle or those little pinch points on the bodies, make sure that you're lifting it in a proper location.
Yeah. One thing I've seen done before, and it was out on a trail, and we were able to catch it, and I had to stop the person from doing it, was they were trying to lift up one of the sides so we can get enough clearance to pull a tire off the vehicle. But he was doing it in such a way that it created the vehicle was, once it got lifted up, it was going to end up counterbalancing and shifting the whole weight of the vehicle.
Oh, interesting.
And so being able to make sure that you understand how that weight shift or weight transfer of the vehicle is going to happen while you're lifting. And if you're lifting at a point there's like, it's like the center point of a vehicle, you don't know which way the weight could go as it shifts. It's a bad thing. So be aware, weight shift, weight transfers while you're lifting the vehicle too.
Absolutely. And that goes into sort of talking about lifting or lowering the vehicle on a hill.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're lifting and lowering it on a hill, that's going to change the weight. It's going to move things around. It might shift. The jack might lean a funny direction. There's a lot of weird things that can go on when you do that. So you should go back to rule number 1 that we just said, which these aren't really in any order, but chalk the vehicle.
Yeah.
If you're lifting and lowering it on a hill, have that vehicle chalked because an e-brake might not be enough. Another thing that I do typically always do is once I take the tires off of the vehicle that it's lifted, I put the tires underneath the vehicle that was just lifted so that if it does fall off the jack or the jack stands, it falls onto the tires and wheels and doesn't crush really anything else underneath, and hopefully not you that happens to be underneath. I talked about this once in a YouTube video and somebody did it and their vehicle fell off the jack stands and landed on the guy, but he had the tires underneath. And he said he was able to crawl out with minor bruises.
When he should be dead.
When he should be dead.
Yeah.
And so it's just another level of safety to help yourself in case the worst situation comes around.
Yeah. And speaking of that, there's a good one here that I actually learned from Casey Liddell.
Okay.
And it comes to, if something does happen to you and you get trapped under a vehicle or stuck on your vehicle, something happened, keep your cell phone within reach of you at all times.
Right. Yeah, that's a fantastic one.
Yeah. He was working on putting the tracks on one of his vehicles. And when he let the vehicle down, the track came down on his foot.
Ouch.
And he couldn't get the track off of him, and he couldn't get his foot out from under the track, and he was kind of stuck there for like a few hours until his wife came out to be like, why didn't he come in for dinner?
Yeah.
Because he didn't have his phone within reach either. So all he had was a camera,
horrible.
like he had a GoPro. So he was like filming his dialogue of, well, hour 2.5 here, and I'm still just hanging out.
How's his foot?
It was fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Feet are surprisingly flexible, all the different bones in your foot. So, but yeah, keep your phone within grabbing distance. If you're working on your own, out being a shade tree mechanic, keep your phone within grabbing distance of you.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's sometimes in your pocket is not the best spot either.
Yes. Yeah.
Because if you do get pinched, maybe you can't reach into your pocket to grab it. But it's also somewhat dangerous to have your phone out and about when you're doing some work in case a tool falls or welding splatter gets on it. So you need to be careful about that, but have it within reach.
Yeah.
So that if any case or whatever case happens, you can grab it and call somebody.
Or have a phone watch, like an Apple Watch or something.
That's not a bad idea either. I wanted to I was thinking about getting one of those like life alert things, like I fell.
Oh,
like
that's a good idea, actually. Yeah.
That I would ring like my parents or my wife or somebody, and be like, I'm in danger.
Someone needs to get out here now.
I need to get out. Yeah. I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to get here ASAP. Absolutely.
Yep. Cool. Jimmy's going to be the next spokesperson for Life Alert.
Right. Yeah. I have 9 out of my 10 toes because I had Life Alert. All right, let's go back up to the top on this list now. Let's just talk about PPE.
Yeah. What is PPE?
Personal protection equipment.
Yep.
Did I get it right? Good.
Yep. So this is something that I know every single shade tree mechanic is guilty of in one way or another.
Oh yeah.
Every single one. And this just comes down to have the proper coverings for yourself to keep yourself from getting injured for whatever job you're doing.
Yeah.
A lot of times that is safety glasses for us as human beings.
Yeah. Safety glasses, welding goggles, or maybe grinding lenses or whatever you want.
Grinding. It's not even a hood, mask. Yeah. Grinding mask. So yeah, the big ones for me that I've really like reluctantly do, but I do it religiously every time now, is if I'm grinding something using a 4.5-inch grinder for a cutting wheel, flapper disc, whatever it is, I put on safety glasses
Yes.
because I got a chunk of metal in my eye once.
Yes.
And it is not fun.
No, it's not.
Not fun at all. And then the wife gets even more pissed at you. And she's like, no, you can't go work on a car anymore. I'm like, I'm going to anyway. Sorry. So yeah, safety glasses. That's the first one that I reluctantly do. I've stopped relying on my safety squints. And
I've never heard that before. Yeah, that's good.
That's a good one. Yeah. My employees taught me that one.
Yeah. Like safety sandals.
Yeah. Safety sandals. That one I'm guilty of doing all the time.
Me too.
Not wearing proper shoes. But the safety glasses and something for skin protection while I'm welding.
Yes.
Not because I'm afraid of slag. It's because I don't do well with sunburns. And so I burn very easily. So I make sure that anytime I'm welding, I try and cover my skin up now. And thank you to John Allen for teaching me that lesson.
Yeah.
By not teaching it to me.
By you getting like 2nd-degree burns.
Yes. I was over at his house and I was like, I want to learn how to weld. And he goes, sure, here you go. Here's a MIG. Squeeze this trigger here. Shit comes out of it. Have fun. Here's some angle iron to weld lines on. So I did that for like 2 hours and then I got home and had like 2nd-degree burns on my arms.
Yeah.
Like, oh, thanks, John.
Yeah.
He goes, well, the nice thing is you're never going to do it again now, are you? I was like, nope.
Yeah. There are a lot of different PPE out there too, right? From safety glasses to ear protection to full face guards to welding jackets, welding shirts to gloves to proper shoes and pants and pretty much everything to protect yourself is a very necessary thing depending in the situations you're at. You don't need to have everything on all at the same time for the tiniest little job of changing your oil or something like that, right? You probably still want to have some safety glasses when you crawl underneath your car to pull that oil filter off because some random dirt's going to fall down in your face.
Yeah.
You know, but you don't need the welding gloves on to do it, you know, but you do want some level of PPE. Like when I'm going to grind, I always I have big old over the ear, like headphone style ear muffs, you know, to block out the noise, which I like those because then I can put Bluetooth headphones on. Yeah. And they'll work. I can have music and then I have the thing around my ears that's muting what's going on out there and I can work when grind away and I can still hear my music, but I'm still have gloves on and I still have like eyeglass protection or glasses protection on, you know, I could also sometimes if I know I'm going to be working and grinding and welding for a while, I'll wear like a mask because you're just going to be breathing in a lot of stuff.
One thing that is I'm going to be getting for Christmas here, whether I get it myself or somebody gets it for me. Is there's earbud technology has come a long ways. And there's earbuds now. This is probably no new news for a lot of people out there, but it's new news for me. I just figured out about them. There's Bluetooth earbuds that have pass-through abilities for them.
Yes.
So you can wear these earbuds and listen to your music and keep listening to music and people can talk to you and it takes the ambient noise or people talking, passes them through the earbuds into your ears while you're listening to music still. Yeah. So it's almost like a hearing aid while you're listening to music and all this other stuff. So I'm like, that's what I'm going to be wearing in the garage from now on.
They make headphones like what you and I are wearing that have that same stuff. Yeah. They're like hollow on the outside and let stuff go through, but you can still have the headphones on as well. I wonder
if you could also wear firearms headsets too, if they would block out
the shots,
the shots while you're in working on your vehicle. No, the like the noise of grinding, but pass through music or people talking.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyways, I just learned about those Bluetooth earbuds. So I'll be getting a set for Christmas here.
Right.
Yeah.
Along with PPE, there's also a level of clean air.
Yeah.
That you need to have. And this is sort of a, you know, it's like, situation, but it's something that we still feel that should be talked about. Like if you're working on a vehicle and you're working on the engine and you're in your garage and it's cold outside, don't run that vehicle in your garage for an extended period of time. Right. You know, it's like, you need to run the vehicle to check, like to burp the engine for coolant, but open up the garage.
Make sure things are ventilated.
Make sure it's well ventilated. Put a fan on there and get that air moving around, you know, but don't sit in that garage with an engine running, right? Don't put yourself in a situation that could be extremely bad. There's many levels of clean air here that we could talk about, but we're going to probably just hit a few. And like the engine running is definitely one of them.
Big one for me is welding. A lot of times I'll weld in my garage without having any of the doors open and just getting, just working on a project, and I get half an hour, 40 minutes into it, and I'll pull the welding hood off finally and kind of go to take a break. And I look around and it's like a hot box to my garage. I'm like, it's probably not good for me.
Yeah.
I got to open up all the doors, let it ventilate out. Or like the secretary comes in and she's like, are you going to die living in this smoke here? I was like, yeah, probably. But don't do that. Make sure you have good ventilation.
Yeah. And this goes along with like spray paint.
Spray paint, yeah, for sure.
That if you're spray painting something, don't do it in a confined area. Go outside, hang the item on some clothes hanger from a tree branch.
Yeah,
and spray paint it outside in a way. And in regards to that, it goes with pretty much a lot of chemicals. Carb cleaner, WD-40, PB blaster, which I love the smell of. But it's probably not the best for me to sniff it. It's like I should not be doing lines of PB blaster.
That actually explains a lot, Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
The big one for me that a lot of people don't realize is galvanized steel.
Yeah.
Welding galvanized steel is extremely poisonous. The fumes from welding galvanized steel is extremely poisonous to human beings.
Right.
So do not ever do that in a confined area. And like, even if you have to do it outside, like even then you don't really want to, unless there's a breeze going.
Right.
Like,
and it's same with carb cleaner, right? You don't want to weld over carb cleaner. You want to make sure that stuff fully evaporates and is gone before you even start welding over that.
Yep.
So yeah, just along with PPE, make sure that you have clean air. It's just going to be better for you. It's going to keep you more aware. It's your senses and heightened, the fact that you're working on something, you're going to be more cognizant of what's going on.
Totally. Yep. So I think that's a good spot to move to taking breaks.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if you're being cognizant of what you're doing and what's happening around you is a big part of staying safe and making good decisions and realizing that you're looking at a temperature gauge rather than an oil pressure gauge. Sorry, I had to.
Yeah, you don't know what we're talking about. Go listen to previous episode.
No, but like there's certain points where you've been working on something in your garage, out on your lawn, whatever it is in your driveway for 6 hours. And you're getting to the point where you're either almost done with the project or you've reached a snag that you've been working on for 4 hours that you didn't anticipate on. And you're just not making good decisions anymore. That's a good time to just stop, take a break, go drink some milk if you've been welding galvanized steel and relax for a second and reset your head.
Yeah.
And reset your energy.
Yeah.
Reset.
A lot of that comes down to, just taking a break and letting your brain relax for a moment so you could think of it in another direction or just think about maybe the proper way to do it or what you've done and maybe you missed a step. A lot of breaks when I'm working on vehicles just come with the natural, like it's lunchtime.
Yeah.
Or I need to get some water, or I'm getting slightly hungry. Let me get a snack. And I turn those into a 5-10 minute break just to sort of relax my body, relax my mind, take a break, jump on social media, change the whole subject in your head so that when you do go back to the project you're working on, you see it with like clean eyes.
Yeah. 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 That's a big one. I think that one is one that I'm really bad at. I don't take a lot of breaks when I'm working on stuff. I'll just work straight through things. And that's something that I need to get better at for sure. From here, it's kind of a little bit of sporadic stuff around about different topics, right?
Yeah.
So let's go back to the top of our list. Let's go to, what was that, number 4?
Yeah, fourth one down.
4 and 5.
Number 8 of our
everything almost done.
It's in here. Yeah.
So anytime you're going to be working on a vehicle, you're probably going to be dealing with fluids in some way. And so knowing that, having a spot set under your vehicle to properly collect the fluids is a highly important thing, right? You don't want to just let oil and coolant or diff oil or brake fluid that's super caustic stuff. You don't want to necessarily just let that run out of the vehicle and go into your yard.
Right.
Especially if you have animals around your yard or something. So
yeah, and in regards to that, antifreeze.
Antifreeze, especially. Yeah.
Antifreeze smells sweet. I don't know. It probably tastes sweet.
It does. It tastes pretty good.
Okay. But animals are attracted to it.
Yes.
And so having a proper way of collecting it, storing it, and disposing of it is very important.
Yeah, for sure. So, and know what the rules are in your state for disposing too. Like here in California, a lot of cities will say you can get a city approved container and you can put the oil-based stuff out onto your curb and the trash company will pick it up or the city will come pick it up.
Yeah.
If you don't have those or you don't want to pay for the city approved container, which is, I'm like, why? I don't want to pay for the container. If you guys want it disposed of, provide me a container. You can take it down to your local AutoZone, Napa,
auto stores,
auto stores, O'Reilly's, whatever it is.
Also, oil change places.
Oh, that's true too. I didn't think about those.
They collect oil all day long. And so you can take it to any auto parts store, any oil change location.
Yeah.
And they should take it. I don't know. I thought it was a rule that all auto parts stores, at least here in California, in our area, need to have an oil recycle.
I think they're supposed to, yeah.
But I know of at least one or two that don't.
Interesting.
So call ahead, make sure that they have it. 1, 2, make sure that it's not full and you can drop it off.
Yep.
I went to like a Speed ED not too long ago. And I called them and I said, hey, can I drop off some oil? How's your oil been? And they're like, oh, it just got emptied the other day. Yeah, come on by.
Nice.
And it's just as easy as that.
Yep.
And they'll, at least here, they want to make, say who's dropping oil off and kind of where you're from. And I don't know what the point of it is, but
my guess is they're giving that data back to city or county or something like
saying
that.
We've collected X amount of oil. Yeah. But you're legally, and I don't know if this is also a California rule or not, you're legally only allowed to carry 5 gallons of oil at a time in your vehicle.
Yeah, that's a California thing for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what the level is on other states. I do too. Yeah. And the reason for it is if you get into a car accident, they don't want more than 5 gallons of oil.
They only want 5 gallons of oil on the ground.
Yeah. And so, it's more of a fire hazard kind of thing and environmental hazard thing if you get into an accident. So 5 gallons at a time. What I like to do is burn my oil. And I don't know if this is great for the air.
Yeah, no.
But I like to burn my oil in my fire pit.
Yeah.
So
I've always wanted to make a crude oil burner / heater for the shop. And use all the leftover oil that I collect throughout the summer, winter, or summer, fall, and spring, or however, and burn it during the winter to keep the shop warm.
Yeah.
And it's just old, used oil that I've just kind of filtered and cleaned up a little bit that drips off this little thing and then gets blasted by an air compressor thing, and then
atomizes
it and burns it. And then you heat up this stove and the stove gets warm and then you heat your shop up with it.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a fantastic way to get rid of old oil. I know that a few people in Ultra Ford Jones has told me to do this, but to dump oil into diesels, into the gas tanks. It's just another way to do it. I've done it in Clifford. I don't know if you should do it in every vehicle out there, every diesel out there. I wouldn't do it in any gas vehicle, but just, do a little research on it. But this goes with, we're primarily talking about oil, but this goes for antifreeze or, power steering fluid, brake fluid, all the fluids out there. There's a proper storage, proper cleanup, proper recycle that goes into them. I just went to the dump a day or so ago and dropped off antifreeze because nowhere takes it.
I've got like maybe 20 gallons of antifreeze.
Oh, really?
That I need to take down to the dump right now. Yeah.
Remind me afterwards. I'll make a note and I know someone that can help you out with that.
Sweet. Perfect. Fluids, collecting the fluids while you're working on the vehicle so that it's not getting on you, not getting in your face, not getting into the environment, not getting into your pets. And then proper disposal of it so that it doesn't get into other people's faces, other people's environments, other people's pets kind of thing. So know what that is around you before you start working on your vehicle so that you have a plan for it and you don't just end up disposing of it however you want to because you didn't have a plan to begin with.
Something I want to stress here, which I'm guilty of many of times, is those ginormous aluminum trays.
Oh,
that's like a splash guard is really what it is. Or you put it underneath a vehicle that's leaking. They're great things to just save the overflow or splashes that happen. If you didn't happen to put that oil pan in the exact right spot, then it splashes onto this aluminum tray, not onto the ground.
Yep.
And it's easy to clean that up instead of leave a mess on the ground.
Yep.
If you do leave messes on the ground, what do you use?
Kitty litter.
I do too. Yeah. Kitty litter. Also, dishwashing powder or detergent is really good. Works well. And then there's a whole bunch of other products out there that is made for cleaning up spills, but kitty litter is usually my go-to and it works great.
Yep.
Unless it rains, which just happened to me.
Yeah. And then you get a big old paste on the ground.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's fluids. Let's see. What else? So we got raise lower vehicle. We did that one. Having the correct tool for the correct job. And this one is something that we're all, again, shade tree mechanics, we're all very guilty of it, not using the tools for the correct job. Like we're all using flathead screwdrivers as pry bars.
Absolutely.
We're all using everything as a hammer. So
yeah. And I think we really added this one to the list because it's not always possible.
Exactly. It's not always possible. And you always kind of have to get creative with tools. But at the same time, if you can get the correct tool for the job, it makes things so much quicker, so much safer, and so much less stressful. I don't know if stressful is the right word.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
You don't get pissed because you're like, fuck, this job is not working. I can't get this goddamn bolt off. And because I don't have this one tool and I'm trying to make other tools work with it. And you just get really frustrated. And it goes back to taking breaks, right? Keep your headspace clear so that you can think and make good decisions while you're working on vehicles, and having the proper tools goes a long way to do that. But at the same time, we can't all spend $500 on a tool that we're going to use once, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are being creative, if you are thinking outside the box on how to get something undone or installed, just be safe about it. You know, wear your PPE. At that point, put on all your PPE. Just be smart. The one thing that
using ratchet straps as spring compressors.
That's exactly where I was going to go. The one thing that always worries me and always scares me is watching people take off like coil springs and trying to compress springs with ratchet straps or just undoing them and watching them bounce around the room.
Yeah.
And it's so scary. And even the like little clawed style ones that they sell at the auto parts store
are almost scarier to me than ratchet straps are.
Yeah. And you see the bolt bending inside of them. And by the way, you're not supposed to use impact wrenches on those. You're only ever supposed to ratchet them with your hands because the impact screws up the bolt on the far end. Coils are one of those things for me. If you don't have a spring coil compressor, take it somewhere to get it properly undone. And that's another level of having the right tool for the right job. There's things that you really can't do or shouldn't do on your own, and you should take it to a professional.
Yeah.
And know your limit on that.
Yeah. Didn't we have that down here? Know your limits? Or I thought we had it. I don't see it on the list now, though. That's a good spot to talk about it, though.
Yeah, let's do it.
You know, being able to understand the scope of the job that you're going to do and realize that while there are times working on a vehicle, a lot of times it's a good time for an educational moment, right? You get to teach yourself how to remove a third member from an axle.
Right.
Not really a high risk maneuver.
No.
Compressing a coil spring to try and get off your vehicle or to get it off of a coilover or whatever it is. High risk maneuver.
Yeah.
So know kind of that limits and what your personal limits are, what you're comfortable doing, what you do know how to do, what you've done research on, and what you probably just should not be doing. And you should just be taking to somebody.
Brakes are a fantastic example for this.
Yeah.
Right. Brakes, especially disc brakes, aren't very difficult to do.
No.
But if you screw them up, your life and other people's lives are at jeopardy.
Yes.
Right. So it's one of those things. Yeah. If you're comfortable and you know how, and you've got the knowledge, feel free, go ahead and do it. If you're hesitant and worried, then I highly suggest you to take it somewhere.
Yeah. You don't want to fuck those up.
Brakes were one of the items that I really never wanted to do a YouTube video on, because I did not want the liability of people coming back to me and going like, you told me to do this and I did this, and then I got
plowed
in a car
into a car
crash.
at 80 miles an hour. Yeah. Because I couldn't stop.
Yeah. I've done one, and then I've refused to do any others. And it's just, that's a high stake item that you should know your limits and what you're doing to be able to attack those jobs.
Yeah.
And that goes for any job that you're doing, whether it's working on an engine, working on an axle, working on the brakes, working on a fuel system, working on electrical. Know your limit.
Yep.
Know what you're willing to take on, or what you really should move on over to a professional, whether it's that item, or know whether it's going to hurt you before or after, like a coil spring, right?
Yeah. That's a good way of thinking about it. If you look at a job and you're like, can I get injured from this? And you don't know how to answer that question, take it to somebody else. So that's a good one. Let's see. What else is here? Overloading power circuits.
Yes.
That's an interesting one. I've been into some pretty sketchy garages that had some pretty sketchy wiring going on.
Okay. Yeah.
That has some pretty sketchy things plugged into their wiring.
Yep.
Ryan, I'm looking at you. And so it's like the Christmas time, right? At Christmas time, you plug in 15 strands of light into one power cord, and then that power cord is plugged into an outlet with 4 other power cords.
Yeah.
Not something you want to do.
No.
Know the limits of your circuits and where your circuits are. Like in my garage, I have 2 different circuits. 3? I think it's 3 different circuits in my garage. So I know how much power I can draw from each circuit at any given time, and I pay attention to that.
Right.
So watch that. That's not something you don't want to burn down your house. You don't want to burn down your yard. You don't want to burn down your garage, your shop, whatever it is. Just be careful about what you're plugging, because there's power tools can pull quite a few amps.
Oh yeah.
And you may not realize it that, your drill press can pull a pretty substantial amount of amps. It's got a pretty big motor in there sometimes.
Yep.
And so just be aware of that heating elements. If you're using a heat gun to do some electrical work and using, heat shrinking stuff onto your wires, heat guns pull quite a few amps. So be aware all that stuff you have plugged into that outlet and that circuit, and what you're running when. So
yeah, absolutely. I think there's a fire code, once again, probably here in California strictly, that says you should never connect like a surge protector to another surge protector and then have that one connected to the wall. Like you should not daisy chain them. Surge protectors.
Yeah.
If you don't have enough plugs for that one surge protector, you shouldn't have more things plugged in that location. Like there's too much stuff going from that one location.
Yeah.
And
that's a great rule of thumb. So.
Right. And I'm guilty of this in my shop currently. And I don't have an excuse for it. It's just, there's a lot of electronics that happen back by my radio in my shop. And there's one outlet there. And, minus the radio, I have the radio plugged in.
You have a bunch of battery chargers back there for video stuff.
Yeah. Those have now moved, but yes.
Oh, okay.
But I also have the gear wrench toolbox plugged into the surge protector, and the gear wrench toolbox has a power outlet inside of it as well. And then, I've got my wireless modem all connected in there. So that's like 3 things, but there's a solid surge protector plugged in back there. Plus there's a surge protector in the the toolbox that has my printer connected to it.
Yeah.
So I'm guilty of it in that aspect, but I also realize it. And there's an EFI fuse on that one switch as well. So if there is too much power that happens to get drawn, it pops itself.
Yeah.
But just be careful. I mean, there's a lot of power that gets drawn in shops, in garages. And if you only, like my garage, my new house has one power outlet in the entire garage.
Ouch.
Yeah. That's going to change.
Yeah.
But it's, everything in the garage is now going to be plugged into that one thing. Like that's not a good thing to do. And if you're aware of it, maybe you need to disconnect some things when you're going to run a drill press, or you're going to disconnect some things to run the heat gun.
Yeah.
But you need to know the limits of that and don't overload it and don't start a fire. And maybe 10.2 here is have a fire extinguisher handy.
Yes, that's a good one.
We don't have that one on our list.
Yeah. So speaking of fire extinguishers, fire person, Mr. Ultra Fire Jones, just did a great video with Jason from Wheeling Wine and Whiskey about Element fire extinguishers. So there was that video floating around for a while that Harry Wagner did with Georgetown Fire, and they were trying to do some pretty hefty work for an Element fire extinguisher. That was actually quite a bit of work for the big fire extinguishers they had there.
Right.
Kevin and Jason did a great job at kind of explaining what types of fires Element fire extinguishers are good for and how to use them properly and when to use them, where to use them, that kind of stuff, things to consider. So awesome video. I forget what it's called. I would imagine if you YouTube search Element.
Yeah. Well, just go to Chasing 518.
Oh, okay. It's up on his YouTube channel.
That's on his YouTube channel,
Gotcha.
Chasing
Perfect.
518. And it's probably at this point in time, it's probably like the number 2 or number 3 video that he's released.
Yeah.
Because I know he's trying to do weekly or something like that.
Nice.
There was also the video, I think it was Lauren Healy, when his car caught on fire and he pulled out the Element fire extinguisher and he couldn't get it lit.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And then in Kevin's video, he has his two daughters light it.
Yeah.
Right. And they're like, yeah, this was super easy. And I'm like, okay, and I shared Kevin's video on the Snail Trail page, and Edwin commented, he's like, I would never run an Element fire extinguisher. I saw what happened to Lauren, and since he couldn't light it, his car went up on flames. I'm like, just because he couldn't, obviously there's a small learning curve here. It's not as easy as pull a pin and pull a trigger.
Yeah.
You got to pull one end off, throw the other end off, swipe away from yourself, which is a fantastic thing that I learned from Ultra 4 Jones's video.
Yep.
Is don't pull the flare in this case, or
towards you,
or the extinguisher towards you. Push it away from you from
you pull the cap towards you and the flare away from you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not hard to do. I don't know. Like Lauren was in a panic state. Yeah.
Very stressful
situation. His car was on fire and he was trying to put it out as fast as he could. And he could not light the Element, but the Element probably still fully functioned. It was not an Element fault at this point.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. There's a couple different situations like that. Like with an Element fire extinguisher, you don't want to burn one without needing to use it because they're $80. They're expensive. But at the same time, it's one of those things where you need to know how to use it.
Yeah.
But the times when first time you probably use it is in a very stressful situation when you really need to use it.
Right.
It's kind of like, it's the same problem that glue tread has.
Sure.
Where glue tread, there's a learning curve to putting patches on the exterior sidewall of your tire.
Absolutely. So
that they hold airtight. And the first time you're ever going to go to use it is when you really need to use it or you're screwed. And it's a bad time to have a learning moment.
Right.
So yeah, it's one of those things. Just educate yourself. And if you have an extra Element, I'd recommend burning one just to get used to and figure out how to light it.
I don't know. So Kevin referred to the similar to a road flare. And I don't think I've ever lit a road flare off.
I've never lit one.
But I mean, I can understand how they're similar. So maybe, and road flares are significantly cheaper than an Element.
That is true. Yeah.
So maybe there's something there, like you could just have the kid or you light off a road flare and get an understanding of how that works. And it should be similar to how an Element works. Another thing that
you can take an Element, pull the cap off and look at the striker on the cap and look at the striker on the Element itself and see how those are going to go together and familiarize yourself with the amount of tolerance you have between getting those two striker faces on each other. You can do that without having to strike and waste an Element. So that I would recommend doing that as well.
Yeah. Another thing, another parent told me, which I think is a fantastic idea, but it's stinky. But get a small fire extinguisher and let your kid spray it.
Oh,
Fire extinguishers aren't that expensive.
No.
And to get an understanding of how to shoot a fire extinguisher is a smart idea.
Yeah.
In almost any situation.
Yeah.
Because they have an understanding of what's going to happen when they pull that trigger and how to properly fire it for the most part.
Yeah.
I think, depending on the age of your child, right? I think my 10-year-old, this would be a fantastic thing for her to understand and learn.
Yep.
And so I'm considering either like one that's maybe almost about to expire, or one that, you can tell is not working very well, or has been beat up in the back of your truck for a while and you're going to replace it anyway.
Yep.
Have your child shoot the fire extinguisher off and understand that it pushes back a little bit. It sends out a smoke for like 10 seconds. The smoke smells like sulfur. It's not good for you or good for what you're shooting it on. So, be aware of that, but maybe have a small bonfire and try to have them put it out and see how much it works. You know, I think that's an actual really good situation.
It's a great life lesson.
Learning skill.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Off topic. Let's go back.
It was a fun topic.
Fire extinguishers are fantastic to have though, especially if you're going to overload a circuit.
Yep. Let's see. What's the next one down that we haven't done?
Communication, which I kind of
touched on it,
a little bit, but I think anytime you have helpers around, whatever you're doing, whether it's raising a lower vehicle, which I've kind of talked about, welding, grinding, you need to communicate with the other person about what's going on. I know that like Husband and I have worked together a lot of times on a lot of different projects, and anytime one of us is going to start grinding or mainly grinding, we go, hey, I'm going to make noise, like put in your ear protection.
Yeah.
And so that we both know that either you both have ear protection on, you're going to have to speak a little louder at that point and to communicate like something's happening, like, oh, hey, you set your shirt on fire. Let me go get the fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Or, anyway, whatever it is, or welding, like, hey, I'm going to start welding, divert your eyes.
Yeah.
Right. Or I'm lifting a vehicle up right now, watch out. Or I'm lowering the vehicle right now. Like, is everybody clear? Is everybody out from underneath the vehicle? I'm
operating the high lift jack. Don't come near this spot here or something. Yeah.
There's a level of communication that needs to happen if you have anybody else around.
Yep.
That just so they're aware of what's going on in that situation and they can react if something happens.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's a good one. Anytime, a lot of us who work on our vehicles by ourselves, but we also like to have buddies over helping or kids in the shop helping and making sure that everybody's aware of what's going on at the time is a very important thing to make sure people don't get hurt and you maintain the no hospital rule.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
One more left on this list.
Last one.
Tyler's favorite thing of all time.
Air conditioning.
Oh,
always
Tyler's second favorite thing.
Second favorite thing. Lighting.
Heating. Oh.
Heating. Yeah. Heated seats. Lighting. It's amazing. Even in the daytime, working under a vehicle in the daytime, I'll still pull out lights.
Oh, yeah.
Because it just makes things so much easier to do when you can see clearly exactly what's going on, exactly what bolt you're messing with, what zip tie you're cutting, what you're arcing out on your frame. Like having a light down there and magnetic lights to be able to see everything, because that's the number one way we as human beings, especially nowadays in the age of social media, we learn and do things based on visual and visualizations. You can't see, or even if you can see, but you're kind of like, I think your depth perception is a little off. Like just get some extra light in there. It makes the job so much easier and so much safer when things are easier for you.
Oh, 100%. And especially like working under the vehicle, like you said, and if you are working outside and it's becoming dusk or dawn, and it's the street lights on and that's the only light you have, it sucks.
Yeah.
Like just get yourself like an underhood light or just a regular flashlight or a floodlight, just another level. So it makes the job that much easier for you because now you can see what you're doing and you're not just reaching around with your fingers to try and finger it out.
Okay. That's a new t-shirt. I'm just fingering it out.
Yeah.
One thing that kind of catches me, and I have to do it pretty often, is while welding.
Yeah.
Get extra light in where I'm going to be welding. I can see just fine without the welding hood on, but as soon as I put on the welding hood, things are just a little darker and it's hard to see exactly what's going on until you get the arc going, right? So that one thing that I did recently while I was working on putting my dashboard back together was I actually had too much light. It was dusk and the sun was shining right in the windshield and I couldn't see anything of what I was doing in the dash because the sun was in my eyes. So I actually had to go and change the lighting to get rid of the sun by putting a towel over the windshield and then using a magnetic light inside the dash to see everything deep in the dash, right? So being able to control and manipulate lighting is something that it goes a long ways to helping make your job and life a lot easier.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's it, man.
Yeah. I believe that is
nice list of stuff.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good list. I think we got 13, maybe 14 items. We have I think we combined, added some together, but we also added fire extinguishers and some other things. So know your limits, which wasn't on the list prior. So yeah, I think we still are around 13 items on that list. So that was a lot of fun.
I agree. And it is now the best time to go to the dentist. So
it's 2:30.
Yeah, it is.
Look at that. But if we missed something that was glaringly obvious, let us know.
Yep.
I mean, this is one of those items that I think that, this is a learning experience for all. And if there's something that you think that we totally missed and totally balked, let us know. You can call us 916-345-4744. Leave us a voicemail of something that you think that we needed on our safety list for the shade tree mechanic out there. What'd you call it?
Mechanicism.
Yeah. And let us know. And then, you phone in, you're going to let everybody know. If you don't want to let everybody know, you can always email us, Jimmy or Tyler at SnailTrail4x4.com. Or you can find us on Instagram. I'm over at SnailTrail4x4. Tyler's over at 4x4 Toyota Tyler.
Yeah, man. So good stuff. I think this is a fun topic. I think that this can go further. I think that there's a lot of other smart people out there that do better shop safety than Jimmy and I.
Yeah.
So we'd love to hear from you guys.
And there's a lot of different types of shops that some of these things might apply to, but a lot of them don't. And there's, we're kind of talking like the automotive style thing, but depending on your shop, this list might only half apply. And there's a whole nother list out there that, could apply to you.
Yeah. Very cool, man. Yeah. Any final words for everybody out there, Jimmy?
Save the beers till after the job.
And with that, my friends, keep crawling.
I got one for you.
Okay. Ready?
What do snowmen eat for lunch?
Snowmen eat for lunch. Snow?
Nope.
Water?
Nope.
Ice?
Yes.
Snowballs?
Close. Nope.
Carrots?
Yeah. No. They're eating their picking their nose?
I don't know.
Iceburgers. Icebergers.
Got it. Yeah. Can I tell my chestnut joke?
What do you call a greedy elf?
Greedy? I don't know.
Elfish.
Oh, yeah, that's true. What did the squirrel find after he masturbated on himself?
Chestnuts?
Chestnut.
Why did Frosty's girlfriend break up with him?
I don't know.
He was a total flake.
Yeah. My girlfriend just recently dumped me at the holiday party.
I'm sorry to hear that.
So I stole her wheelchair. Guess who came crawling back?
What is every parent's favorite Christmas carol?
Oh no, that's a priest. Never mind. I don't know. What Jimmy?
Silent Night.
Oh, okay. Little Drummer Boy was not one of the answers.
No, that's the worst Christmas carol.
That's the priest's favorite Christmas carol. And Michael Jackson's.
Yeah.